You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Glad you can join me on another podcast of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, do yourself a favor. Follow the podcast. If you're on the YouTube side of things, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Be sure to go to any of the social media links in the description box to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. I won't take up much more of your time. Let's get into it. All right, so I like to start the show off, talking about what's been going on in the life of Mike Davis. That's if you're new here to the podcast and you don't understand the format. I am your host, Mike Davis. Look, I don't claim to be some sports expert, as I always say. I'm just a simple guy, a simple man living a simple life. Works a 9 to 5, and I enjoy sports, and I enjoy talking about it, and I enjoy debating it. So feel free to do the same in the comments down below. If you feel you need to debate me or agree with me or disagree with me, let me know your thoughts. I will be sure to let you know my thoughts. All right. So before I get into the show today, I wanted to talk about, do we have any gamers? Any gamers that listen to me? I must say that I am a gamer, but I'm not the gamer that I used to be. Like anybody, life gets in the way. You have kids, you're working, so you can't play the game as much as you used to. And, I'm on YouTube a lot, and I'm looking at Major League Baseball, the show. I've mentioned that before. It's now on Xbox. I'm thinking about starting a channel showing myself playing the ropes of the show. I've never played the show. I would be coming from the old MLB 2K games from back in the day. I believe the last one was like MLB 2K12, maybe. So I would be coming over from that demographic. But I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel. And I don't know. Just thinking about it. But if I do, it'll be soon. It will be fairly soon. So you might be able to watch me struggle a bit in a video game. But once I catch on, I'm pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. If I do decide to start a channel showcasing what I could do in MLB The Show 21, you guys, my listeners will be the first to know. All right, so look, let's get into the real reason we are here. I am here to talk about, should the Bears start Justin Fields over Andy Dalton? Now, my brother, he is a Bears fan. He should love this podcast. All right. Look, we all know the Bears, they just drafted Justin Fields, who I felt my Falcons should have drafted to groom and get ready to take over after Matt Ryan, whatever we decide to do with him and his contract. But the Bears ended up selecting Justin Fields, and I think they got a steal at 11. I'm not mad at them for moving up and picking him. Let's dive back into the Bears last season. Now, last year this was a weird team last season. They finished 8-8. They were second in the NFC North. They started out 5-1. Then they lost 6 games in a row. Then they won 3 of their last 4 just to sneak into the playoffs, only to lose to the Saints in the wild card. I might be one of the only ones, but that wild card game that was shown on Nickelodeon, I love the touchdown celebration with the Nickelodeon slime going everywhere. But look, that's another story for another day. All right, so like I was saying, this was a very weird team last season. Look, the Bears, they were a mess on offense. Now, they threw the 8th most passes in the league, but they finished with the 22nd most passing yards, which doesn't make sense. You throw the 8th most attempts, but you're 22nd in yards. Like I said, this was a very weird team last season. They were also ranked 22nd in points scored. They were 26 in total yards. So the offense, like I said, offense was just woo. So again, but when I dived into it, what I saw was, look, the real issue with the Bears was running the ball. They could not run the ball. They finished 25th in rushing yards, 27th in rushing touchdowns. Now, David Montgomery, he ran for over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns in 15 games, but that was it. And you wouldn't even have known that he had a 1,000-yard season last year. I mean, the Bears' run game was almost non-existent, outside of that. There was no change of pace back. Look, teams aren't running guys 350 and 400 times anymore, unless you're Henry playing for the Tennessee Titans. You just don't get that, So, look, I believe in old school football, and if you can't run the ball, you can't win. There's going to come a time in the game where you are going to need to slow that game down and run that clock and not just always depend on the quarterback's arm. Now, I think that was one of the main problems. I won't say the main problem. I think that was the problem with the Bears offense. There was no consistency with running the football, Now, they drafted running back Khalil Herbert in the 6th round from Virginia Tech. They also get back Tariq Cohen next season after losing him to an injury last season. So it's funny to me that running backs really wasn't high on their list. Like I said, they drafted a running back 6 in the draft, and then they're banking on Cohen coming back next season, and they're going to run with Montgomery. I really don't like it. Honestly, that's just me. Look, I could be wrong. I'm not big on Cohen. I don't watch a lot of Bears football. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to be one of these guys that tells you, like, when you watch these ESPN guys like Stephen A. Smith or these the Fox Sports guys with Shannon and Skip, and they tell you, and they're giving you information off of maybe just stats and what someone else tells them. Look, I don't watch Bears football. There's no way you can watch all these teams in one weekend or a matter of days. So like I said, I don't watch Chicago Bears football. All I can do is go off numbers as far as rankings and individual performances. And David Montgomery, he seems like the guy that, he can't be productive, but they're going to have to get another back there with him. And I don't know much about Tariq Cohen. Maybe he could be that change of pace back that the Bears so desperately need. But like I said, I don't think running backs is high on their list, drafting your backs in the 6th round. But look, I'll say this. This is all I'll say. Andy Dalton should have drove to the airport to pick up Justin Fields. Okay? You play Justin Fields from day one. Now, I'm not going to bother to even say what Andy Dalton did in Dallas last season, because I don't need to. Okay? He sucked with the Cowboys last year, and I mean, he's serviceable. But look, it's Justin Fields' time for me. Look, throw him out there. I'm not a big fan of guys sitting back waiting to play. This day and age, offenses are ran different from the 90s. Guys come in, they're ready to play. Look, my Falcons, Matt Ryan, they throw him out there, ready to play. I believe Matthew Stafford in Detroit, same situation. Throw him out there, ready to play. Last season, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati, throw him out there, ready to play. Guys are now coming into the league, and they are throwing their QBs out there. And as long as it's a team with some type of stability. And that's weird saying that, because I just mentioned Matthew Stafford and the Lions. But I think Justin Fields is ready to go from day one. You throw him out there. I did see that the Bears told Andy Dalton that they were going to draft Justin Fields if he was available, and they did. So we'll see how that plays out with Andy Dalton. I also saw they tried to trade Nick Foles back to Philadelphia. I believe that's not their first time trying to do that. So hopefully they go with Justin Fields. I think a lot of that will take pressure off the passing game with Fields, because Fields, can get out and make plays happen with his legs if there's nothing there. And I think the Bears are in a good situation. Like I said, they had a weird season last season at 8-8. I think the Bears actually get better with Justin Fields. Nothing but up for them. So look, that's how I feel about it. How do you feel about it? Do you think the Bears should play Andy Dalton, or should they go with the rookie Justin Fields? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section. There's the whistle. There, you heard the whistle. I was ahead of it this time. I knew it was coming soon, but you just heard the whistle, so I'm glad I'm ahead of the whistle this time. All right, we'll get out of this Bears topic. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, this day in sports on May 11th, back in 1980, Pete Rose, at the age of 39, still second, third, and home in one inning for the Philadelphia Phillies. Hey, look, guys, that's all I got for you today, folks. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, do yourself a favor. Follow the podcast. If you're on the YouTube side of things, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Go to the social media links in the description box to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. You've been listening to All In Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.